Hey everyone, welcome to this week's video. This week I have an oak log that I've been drying for close to a year and cutting it in half here with the chainsaw and putting it on the lathe, and I will be turning a vase. So stick around until the end. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. And we'll get to turning. So the reason for putting it on the lathe while it's not round is to take the bark off. I don't have a vise, so this was kind of the easiest way to do it. After taking the bark off, I take it back off the lathe and use the bandsaw to make it somewhat more of a round shape. And it's out of balance here, as you can easily see. It's not quite as out of balance as it looks. And that's just the camera angle. But I start out with my largest bowl gouge. I tried a carbide tipped one here for a minute, but quickly went back to the bowl gouge. Fixing the tool rest. And it was quite bouncy, so it was a little difficult in the beginning. As you can see here, I was able to get the lathe speed up considerably, and even though it's not completely round here, it is much better than it was. So turning at a faster speed, here I'm around 1000 RPM. As I mentioned, this has been drying for about a year. This is oak, and I don't turn a lot of oak. I have turned oak before. I'm used to more maple and walnut really, but this was a nice change. Just trying to get it to a overall thickness and shape before I start really shaping the base, or making the base shape. Back at it with the bowl gouge here. Going for a simplistic vase shape, nothing too fancy. Slight curves. And I don't know if you could see it there on the screen, but a piece of the oak flew off, and there's a little bit of a recess or indentation. And what I'm doing here is using some hot glue and plastic to make it a container-ish, so I can put resin in that area. For the resin, I'm going with Black Diamond, Midnight Diamond Blue for the first color, and I'm adding a second color, which you'll see in a second, which is a purple. With these, you never really know how much is going to get turned off. At least I don't. I can guesstimate. But putting two colors in there, hoping for kind of a dual effect. So after the pouring the resins, let it sit for probably 30 hours overnight and a little bit more. And coming back the next day here and taking off the tape and the plastic, which was a little bit of a chore. Starting here with the bowl gouge, quickly changed to the Easy Wood carbide tipped. The bowl gouge was chipping out the resin a bit. This carbide just made it a little bit easier to shape it and take care of the resin at the same time. If you haven't turned resin before and you're going to turn resin, I highly recommend a carbide tipped tools if you're using like Easy Wood or Rockler brand. Carbide, negative rake. All the Easy Wood tools that I'm using here are all the negative rake tipped ones. Back with the bowl gouge here. Trying to make the subtle curves of the vase. It would have been a lot easier if I had a steady rest, which I don't have. If anyone watching has one and has turned a vase and used them, let me know in the comments down below how much you like it, if it really does help. Little, a lot. Is it a lifesaver? Is it a nice thing to have or an important thing to have? So this oak log did have a few spots of cracking or punkiness that I use this black Starbond CA glue with accelerator, and it worked great. There's a link in the video description for Starbond if you're interested in trying it. So I'm just showing a little bit of the sanding here. I sanded from 80 grit up to 400 grit. Some denatured alcohol to clean the surface. I'm not really ready to finish the outside yet, but I'm just seeing what it might look like with finish. So using the Forstner bit in the tailstock and trying to hog out some of the material to make it easier to hollow the vase. Unfortunately, during this project, my Forstner bit extension broke and need to get a new one. So I had to be creative. This vase ended up being a bit taller than I originally anticipated. So now that the shape of the outside is pretty much how I want it, starting to take some material off of the inside. And not having a Forstner bit extension made this hollowing process a lot more difficult, but I tried to be very patient and take my time and do the best I could. Probably the bottom quarter of the base didn't get turned out because I just couldn't reach. But that's okay. It made the vase, stable when it's sitting, at least in my opinion. I was still happy with the end result. Sanding the inside, again being creative and trying to get sanded as much as possible on the inside. Now I'm using a denatured alcohol again for the outside and getting ready to apply sanding sealer. And after applying one coat of sanding sealer, as you see here, I start with the Axe abrasive and Axe polishing paste. Using some steel wool here to denib it between a sanding sealer and the Axe abrasive paste. There is a link in the video description to get Axe, and you can get 10% off with code PF10. And Axe now also has available some smaller kits if you're not looking to get their standard kit, which is a great price. But if you're looking for a smaller kit, if you don't do that much turning or just want to try it before investing too much, their kits are $10 plus shipping for their smaller ones. So check out that link, axeabrasivepaste.com. On to the polishing paste, my favorite part. Axe is a really easy product to use. It's fast, it's easy, and it leaves a great result. Finishing wood turning projects of all the finishes available, it can be very confusing, expensive, and time consuming. I always get a great finish with Axe. So buffing off the last of the polishing paste here. So I changed my mind at the very end. Here you can see me with the parting tool, and I was about to part it off and have the standard vase shape. I changed my mind and decided to make it a pedestal vase. I haven't done a pedestal vase before, a little bit different. Let me know what you think of the pedestal in the comments down below. Some photos coming up here. Here they are. Thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it. If you haven't subscribed yet, hit that subscribe button. It really helps me keep making more content. And hit that thumbs up button. Thanks in advance. And until next week, peace out.